Dear students in grade 12, good morning. Welcome to our session for today, in which we are going to talk about Unit 10. Well, dear students, dear colleagues, let me first introduce my colleagues in the studio who are going to participate in this session. Miss Wala Safir, an English teacher from Damascus countryside. Good morning, Miss Wala. And Mr. Mazen Abdul Karim, an English teacher from Damascus countryside. Good morning, Mr. Mazen.
Good morning.
Well, dear students, as you know, the title of Unit 1 is Culture Shock, as you can see from the laptop. Well, dear students, in this unit, as you know, we have a number of skills. Of course, we are going to discuss all the skills in this unit. Let me first introduce the title. Can we use the laptop, please? Thank you very much. So, when someone travels to, let's say, a place or another country, of course, everything will change according to him. So he has some fears when he travels abroad. Maybe he has some different thoughts, some culture, and this is what we mean with different culture. So he is going, of course, to meet a number of challenges. As you can see, if we look at the books or the contents of Unit 10, in listening, you are going to learn how to listen for specific information. And when we talk about speaking, you are going to learn how to ask for advice and how to give advice. Of course, we have a reading text about culture shock. And when we talk about writing, you are going to write a formal and informal emails. In grammar, we will discuss the modals, the auxiliary verbs, and then when we talk about pronunciation, we have question intonation, and when we talk about vocabulary, we have some new idioms in this unit, and of course, when we talk about everyday English, of course, and this corner helps you how to speak and how to use the language, how to practice the language outside the classroom, and here we have the title, Expressing Surprise, how to express surprise. Before we start this session, dear students, let us watch this video together about culture shock, and then we can have some comments. Let's watch the video, please. The video, thank you. Of course, dear students, the video is silent, as you can see, as you can watch. There is no voice. It is a silent video. Here, someone is asking about his relationships. Look at this girl here. She has a strange appearance, maybe. Good. That's it. Thank you very much. So, if we want to comment on this video, dear students, at the beginning, let me ask my colleagues here. Yes. Miss Wala, what's your impression about this video we have just watched?
Yeah. We have a newcomer. Maybe he is so surprised about the new culture,
Good.
The food,
the people, the way of clothes,
yeah.
Maybe how they dress, maybe
their habits,
yeah,
all the things are different from his own culture.
Yeah. What about you, Mr. Mazen?
Yes.
Would you like to add something?
Yes, the same, you know, about when someone comes into a new country, he feels that strange because the culture is very different from his own culture.
So when anyone
Yes.
wants to travel abroad and visits a, let's say, a foreign country, a foreign place, of course he will meet everything different. He will face different things, different language, different, let's say, different people, different relations, different behaviors, different food, different way of
Customs.
dressing, customs, everything is different. So that's why we say you are going to have some culture shock when you travel abroad and visits a new place. So the foreigner, let's go back to the laptop please. So the foreigner has a feeling of not knowing the laptop please. The laptop. Thank you very much. So the foreigner has a feeling of not knowing what to do or how things work, let's say, in a new environment, and not knowing what is appropriate or inappropriate to him. So what do I know? What is he going to take? When is he going to take my card, for example? He seems a bit unfriendly, let's say, invading my personal space. Next, what should I do? So a lot of questions, all people are asking these questions when they, let's say, visit a foreign place. Now let's go on. We have some questions. Of course, I'm going to ask Miss Wala these questions and then she can continue. How many times a day can I listen to the word hello?
Yeah, if you go there, you may listen a lot of times.
Yes.
All people will see you a strange man and they will ask you.
So these are some questions and
Yeah.
a person needs answers.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to reply?
He will ask himself all
Yes.
the time, I don't know.
Is it necessary to reply in these cases?
He doesn't
So
know according to the,
he is asking
the new
himself
culture.
these
Yeah.
questions. Are people being friendly or just curious? So why do little children stare at me?
Because you're strange.
Because you are a stranger, maybe. You are different, maybe. Okay, do I really look that different? So am I different? Oh. So he will ask himself. Now, it is the big question. Miss Wala, please, what is culture?
Yeah. When we talk about culture, we mean the characteristics and some knowledge in a particular for a particular group of people. It is a shared system of a lot of things. As we can see in the picture, we have meanings, we have beliefs, we have values, behavior, art.
Through which experience is interpreted and
carried out.
Good. So this is culture. Everything we carry with us when we travel abroad.
We call it
so
culture.
it is our life, our country, our
Our way of life.
civilization, our way of living.
Yeah.
That's it. Values, beliefs, opinions, behaviors, everything.
Ritual.
Good. So what is culture shock? Mr.
Yes.
Mazen.
Yes, a culture shock is an experience that many people face when they go to a foreign country because they come across a new culture, a new behavior,
New cultural environment.
Yes, a new culture environment which is very different from their own, their original cultures.
So there is a nice sentence at the end.
Yes.
It's like a fish out of water. So when you get a fish out of water, of course, you will change its environment. Everything will be different
Yes.
to that fish, let's say. So it's like a fish out of water.
Yes.
It's a nice sentence. Now, what about transition shock symptoms? When someone, Ms. Wala, let's say, faces, let's say, such a feeling, so let's say he has some symptoms. I mean, culture shock has some symptoms and a person should know everything about them. What are they?
Yeah. The first one is anger. So they are worried about a lot of things. When they face new things, they will be so angry. Maybe we have boredom, feeling isolated or helpless. extreme homesick. Homesick, it means longing to be back home. And also
he misses his country, his homeland.
country, yeah, and
yes.
his family maybe.
Good.
Eating and maybe sleeping.
Eating disturbances, some
yeah.
problems in
Yeah.
eating.
And
yes.
sometimes they will face, let me say, minor health problems.
Excessive critical
Yeah.
reactions to
And
host culture.
yeah, we have a negative feeling towards the new culture.
Yes, he maybe will refuse
Yeah.
some
At the
let's say,
beginning.
aspects in
Yeah.
this culture, in this new culture. Good. Now, Mr. Mazen,
Yes.
Ms. Wala talked about the symptoms. Now let's talk about the time. How long these symptoms, let's say, last, please.
Yes, the symptoms of cultural shock may last for days, may last for months, and this is according to the person, his character, his individual.
According to his experience, maybe his character,
maybe,
as you
yes.
said.
Some people just fit with the local very quickly. Sometimes people take a long time in order to fit themselves with this new culture.
So we have some values, in fact, in this unit, and we're trying to convey some of these values to our dear students.
Yes.
When someone feels such a feeling or has such a feeling, he must know that he is not sick. You see, so it's a normal feeling when you feel homesick, when you are homesick. So it means that you long for your country. It's a normal feeling. When you refuse or reject some new ideas or some new behaviors in that country, it's a normal thing.
Yeah.
So don't worry about this, but maybe you need time. We are trying to tell him that you need time to adapt to the new environment. Am I right?
Yeah.
So, Ms. Wala, please. What about the stages of culture shock? Let's talk in details.
Yeah, while people react differently to the changes, studies have shown that there are 4 stages. The first one, it is honeymoon. The second stage is frustration. We have adjustment, and the last one, acceptance. Let's start talking about
honeymoon.
Yeah, the first stage. The first stage is honeymoon. It is characterized by a positive feeling because it's the beginning of a new culture. Yeah,
Yes.
Everything is positive
And new,
and exciting. Yeah, it's new at the beginning, just at the beginning. Yeah, during this weeks or days in a new country, everything usually goes smoothly.
Good. Good. So when someone visits from the very beginning, he feels excited about everything new. So this is what we call the honeymoon. The honeymoon stage. Now, after the honeymoon stage, we have another stage, which is, Mr. Mazen?
Yes, frustration stage. At this stage, the traveler, the newcomer of a new country, will reject the new culture, and he will also feel homesick to his own culture, and he starts to complain about and notice about the bad things about this new culture
that bother him.
Yes.
Or annoy him.
Bother him.
Good. So this is what we call the frustration stage.
Yes.
We
So
mean that a person feels frustrated. He
Yes.
is annoyed about these new things in this country.
In this stage, he compares a lot
He
between
compares his values
his
maybe
own culture and the new
with
one.
the values of the new
Yeah.
culture of the new country. Yes. What about the stage number 3?
Yeah, it is adjustment stage. It needs time, a lot of time and help from the locals, people. The person will feel that he can feel more comfortable and familiar with the new environment, and he begin to, let me say, to be familiar also with the local, also the food, the culture.
He begins to adapt.
Yeah, and
to
maybe
the new environment.
he will gain more confidence than before in this
So
stage.
this is what we call, he begins to adjust himself maybe.
Yeah.
To have control.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. What about the last stage?
Yes, this is the adoption or acceptance. In this stage, he accepts this new culture and he tries to integrate, and he succeeded in this integration, and he has people who just feel that they are confident in just because of the two culture are very good for them.
Good, good. So now let's say the effect that we talked about the culture shock, that it has some impacts or effects on the person.
Yeah.
Now, how can people reduce, let's say, this impact of culture shock, Ms. Wala?
Yeah.
So we are trying here to, let's say, to present some solutions to solve the problem of culture shock.
But there is no magic, no solution at all. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Everyone has to find his or her own balance between the values of his country and the other country. Maybe we have some tips for them. They must realize that adjusting takes some time.
Yes.
They must focus on the positive things. They accept that they will feel frustrated in some stages, and they don't have to compare all the time between his culture and the other culture. And the last tip, I think they must keep an open mind.
Good. So, as you said, there is no magic solution to this problem, but when a person knows his values very well and knows that there is something called culture shock, and he knows that he is going to meet or face new values, different behaviors, I think he will have something, some kind of relief. Right? He will feel relaxed when he knows the problem. So when he knows the problem, it's okay, and he knows that it needs some time to adapt. That's it. Good. Now we have an exercise in Unit 10, Mr. Mazen. We have some new vocabs, and we need to match these new vocabs with their meanings, please.
Yes. Number one, frustration, which means unhappy or worried mental state. Yes.
The second one, homesickness, it means a strong, sad feeling of missing one's home when physically away.
Good.
Number three, disturbance, the feeling of being annoyed because you cannot control a situation.
Good.
Yeah. Four, invaluable, it means extremely useful.
So it doesn't mean the opposite of valuable.
No.
Maybe some students think that this is the opposite
prefix,
word of valuable.
Give them the opposite.
Invaluable means that you cannot give a value to this thing. It is
so
very useful, so useful.
Yeah.
This is the meaning of invaluable. Number five.
Number five, adjustment, which means a change in a way that someone behaved or thinks.
Good.
So you change yourself according to the new situation.
To adjust yourself, control yourself, according to the new atmosphere.
New situation.
And the last one, integration, it means the process of fitting into a community.
Good, good. Thank you very much. Now, what are the advantages, let's say, of living abroad? Maybe advantages and disadvantages. There is a copying mistake here, I think. What are the advantages and disadvantages of living abroad? So there are some advantages and there are some disadvantages. What about the advantages, please?
Yes, we have a lot of advantages of being, in just a new culture. It just, you have a new friends, you learn new language, you get, new culture, new values, new custom, new traditions, these, things.
Okay, so make lifelong friends.
Yes.
Number two, learn a new language. Of course, this is an advantage when I visit a new country and I'm going to learn their language. It's a nice thing.
Educational value here.
So try new food. Why no? Why not? So it's a new experience for me. Maybe try a new dress. Why not? So learn to adapt. Okay, it adds something to my personality.
Yes.
It to my experience. Boost your confidence. It will increase your confidence and get you travel opportunities. Of course, when you travel, it's a nice thing because it's again a nice experience. Personal growth, of course, every day is an adventure for me. Why not? Because it is a new day, something new. I will face new things every day in that country. and experience a new culture, as we said, become more independent, because I'll learn how to live independently. I mean, away from my family maybe,
Yes.
from my friends, from my all relationships in my country. So why not? These are some of the advantages of, let's say, living abroad. What about, Ms. Wala, the disadvantages?
Yeah, the disadvantages at the beginning, maybe they will face language barrier. They don't know how to speak the other country language. We have also culture shock. We have homesickness. They long to go back to their country. Moving is so expensive for, especially nowadays. There is a lot of paperwork, loneliness. They don't have their family.
Feeling of loneliness.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we have their favorite things may not be available there.
Yes.
And there are a lot of disadvantages. It's difficult to become a citizen.
Yes.
And because of the laws of some countries, it is hard to find a job before you arrive, and new social rules to adapt to.
Of course, there are some rules in society. Yeah. Every society has its own rules, and they must be different from the rules of your society. So these are some of the disadvantages. Thank you. Now, what about some idioms? Now, when we talk about vocabulary, dear colleagues, dear students, we have under this title some new idioms, and we think that they, let's say, are considered international idioms. I mean, they have an origin, and we can say that this idiom came from this country. This idiom, the origin of this idiom is from this country, and so on. So when we say to have a white face, what do we mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me give you an example before we start. People with white faces can supposedly be more successful in life. The meaning of this idiom is to have.
Of course, we
many
are not
friends.
talking about the size of the face.
No, no.
To have a white face. No, this is not
Sure,
what we
no.
mean, of course.
Yes.
But when we say someone has a white face, it means that
He has a lot of
he has
friends.
a lot of friends, a lot of
and,
relations.
he
is sociable.
He's
Yes.
liked, yeah.
Yes.
The
So-
origin of this idiom is it comes from Chinese concept of face. Actions or words that are disrespectful may cause someone to lose face. So we have here another idiom.
So we can
have-
say, I lost my face.
Yeah.
When we say, I lost my face, what do I mean? It means that I am in a bad situation,
And-
something, let's say, not good
Not good for
happened
you.
with me, and I lost my face for that reason. So I can't maybe face other
Yeah,
people
look at the others.
with this bad result. Maybe if, let's say, a student has got low marks in
Yeah.
the exam, so he will say, oh my God, I lose my, I can't, let's say, talk to my parents because my marks are not so good. So
I lost my
for that
face.
reason, he can say, I lost my face. What about the second one?
Sorry, but here we have the opposite of lose face. We have save face.
To
also.
save face.
Yeah.
Good.
And it's related to our Arabic culture also.
Yes.
When we say
yes,
save
yes,
face.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
you
that's
save
right.
face when you do something to prevent yourself or someone else from being embarrassed.
Yes. Thank you very much. What about the second idiom?
Yes, the second idiom, to give someone a pumpkins, and you know this is a kind of, pumpkins is a kind of,
Vegetable.
yes, vegetables,
Yes.
but the meaning is very different from the literally one,
Of course.
which means to reject someone and to turn them
So
down
we advise the students not to translate these idioms literally.
into Arabic, yes.
Yes, word by word, because the concept, let's say, of this idiom is something different. So it refers to something different, and they should know how to use this idiom through the context.
Yes. So, for example, I trusted him, but he gave me a pumpkin. It means he let me down, he rejected me or turned me down.
Good. So I trusted him, but unfortunately he gave me pumpkins. It means he did something bad with me, and I'm now, let's say, losing my face, maybe. Right? The last one.
The last one, to break bread with.
It is a nice idiom,
yeah.
and I think we in Syria use this idiom.
We use it a lot. This expression means more than just eating. It is a sharing of a sense of brotherhood.
We are very close.
Yeah. For example,
we shared bread together. We broke bread together. I broke bread with Mazen. It means that I am very close to Mazen.
Yes.
He is my close friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Thank you very much. Now let's do the exercise, please.
Yes. Choose the correct idiom to replace the underlined phrases. Number 1, I don't want to ruin, to damage my friendship with him, for we have built a good bond, good relation. And
good
here,
link, good relation.
Yes. For, it means here because, and the underlined words mean we have broken bread with each other.
Not we have lost our faces, of course.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, the second one, he thinks he would be respected if he admitted the mistake. Here, the underlined phrase, he would be disrespected. It means he would lose face.
It is the opposite of respect.
Yeah.
Yes, disrespect, yes.
That's it. It's very clear, I think. Number 3.
Number 3, she has many friends. Everyone at work likes her. It means she has a wide face.
Why? Because everyone at work
likes
her.
Yes.
Her relations are very good with others.
And
so
she is liked by others.
Yes.
Yes.
Number 4, I wanted to avoid embarrassment with my colleagues by explaining why I've been late. It means save face.
To save face. Yeah. I wanted to avoid embarrassment. I wanted to save my face with them by explaining why I've been late.
Yes.
Yes, number 5.
Number 5, he invited her to the party, but she turned him down. The underlined phrases, turned him down, it means she gave him a pumpkin.
Yes, to turn someone down means to give him a pumpkin or pumpkins.
Yeah.
It's the same. Now, when we talk about pronunciation, we have a new skill in this unit, which is called question intonation. Why did we do that in this unit or in every unit? We added, as you know, a title to all the units of grade 12 books, which is called pronunciation, because we feel that a large number of students do not pronounce the words correctly sometimes. So we need to, let's say, to make them have correct pronunciation, even when we talk about intonation. I mean, when I want to ask someone a question, so students should know that there is a rise in their voice when they ask the question, and there is a fall in their voice when they maybe end the question, or the opposite. So we have some rules when talking about question intonation. Miss Wala, please.
Yes. We have here two sentences. What's the difference in the way the following two sentences sound? The first one, he's going tomorrow. The second one, he's going tomorrow. The melodies in these two sentences are different.
Of course.
The melody of the first sentence at the end, making it a statement. My voice was falling. The melody of sentence B rises at the end, making it a question.
Let's practice them, Miss Wala.
Yeah.
The first one, as you said, is a sentence. It's not a question.
Yeah.
We have a full stop at the end, as you can see, dear students. So when I want to say, let's say this sentence, I say, he's going tomorrow.
Yeah.
So there is a fall, a drop.
At the end.
He's going tomorrow. He's going tomorrow. Am I right?
Yeah.
Not, he's going tomorrow. No, it's wrong to say that. So he's going tomorrow. There is a drop. But when we have a question, as you can see, dear students, in the second one, of course, grammatically, it's not a question, but we have a question mark at the end, which means that the speaker here is asking or is trying to express surprise, maybe, a kind of surprise. He's going tomorrow?
Yeah.
Is it really? Yeah. This is what the speaker means, right?
For sure.
So he's going tomorrow? Oh my God, I have no idea about this. So here the intonation is very important to make the listener understand you, dear students. It's very important when we focus on intonation when we speak with others. So, as you said, Miss Wala, the melody of sentence A drops at the end, while sentence B rises at the end, because we are making it a question.
Yes,
Mr. Mazen.
Yes, Mr. Basil, to add something
Yes.
about intonation, it means to give the level of your voice, to give it either a fall or yes, a drop.
A drop or rise?
A rise.
Yes.
The same, fall, drop,
Yes.
or rise.
Yes.
So, for example, we have the WH question, which when we have two kinds. When you ask about information or you don't know the
laptop,
information,
please. Yes.
so we have the
laptop.
fall intonation or drop intonation. Example, what's the time?
Sorry, the laptop, please. The laptop. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Here we have an example. Mr. Mazen, again.
What is the time? You know, we have fall. The second one, where do you live? Where do you live? Yes. So here, when we have WH question, always we have the intonation is dropping. Yes, it's falling.
What's the time? Or
Yes.
what's the time?
Yes. What's the time?
What's at the beginning we are
We
there
rise
is
at the
rise
end.
and
then
fall.
at the
it
end
falls.
we
We
have
fall.
a
Fall.
drop.
Yes.
So what's the time?
Yes.
But if we say it the opposite, what's the time? So it seems that you are shouting at the person. It's wrong to
Yes.
follow this
Yes.
strategy.
Yes.
What's the time? What's
Where-
the time?
yes. Where
to
do you
appear
live?
more polite.
Polite.
Yes. Where do you live?
Yes.
Where do you live?
Where do you live?
You see?
Yes.
So this is the meaning of rising intonation
And
falling
dropping intonation. Good. Next one, please.
Yeah, the next one in yes/no question, we always raise our voice or on the last content word or phrase. If we are checking information we already know, our voice goes up at the end. For example, are you going to the party tonight? The second one, have you got a pen?
So yes/no questions ends with a rising
intonation.
intonation.
Yeah.
Why? Because they are yes/no questions.
Yes/no question.
And the speaker here
Checking for
wants
the
to know
information, yeah.
wants to know the answer. Are you going to the party tonight?
Yeah.
That's it. Have you got a pen? You see? Nice. Here we ask our dear colleagues, teachers of English, to make their students have more practice about this skill. Not, let's say, to give the rules without practicing the rule. So when I want to give the rule, a new rule in every unit, we should have some practice as students.
Yes.
Next one.
Yes, number 3, question tags. We have two kind of question tags. When you want, for example, when you expect or when you know the information, but you are just checking, we have falling intonation. Example, you are French, aren't you?
Good. So there is a sentence, as we know, the question tags
Yes.
come at the end of the sentence. So
Yes.
there is a sentence, then we have a question
Tag.
And question tags, as we know, are used in spoken English, not in written English.
Yes.
We use it in spoken language, right?
Yes.
So you're French, aren't you?
Yes.
He's very tall, isn't he? You see? Very nice. Number 4.
Yeah, number 4, we have also question tag, but when we aren't sure, we need the information. If we don't know the information, the intonation must fall, must rise at the end.
It's a very important point,
Yeah.
Ms. Wala. Thank you. Here, students should differentiate, let's
Yeah.
say, even when we talk about question tags. When the speaker is asking a question and he knows the answer, let's say, I know that Mazen lives in Damascus, but I want to make sure, let's say,
To check, yeah.
you live in Damascus, don't you? You see? Because why? Here we have
You know the information.
a dropping intonation. Why? Because I know the answer, right? 70%, 80%, I know the answer. But sometimes when I don't know the answer, the intonation is rising. Here we have a rise at the end. As you said, you're French, you're French, aren't you?
Yeah.
So it means that I don't know.
Yes.
I have no idea about you.
I need the answer here.
Your train leaves at 6, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I have no idea about when the train leaves.
Yes.
Next one.
Yes, in question that we have question that offer choices. We have, for example, more than one choice. So here we have the beginning, we have rise, and at the end we have fall. For example, do you prefer reading poetry or prose?
So we have two choices here.
Yes.
Poetry
Or
prose.
prose.
So
Yes.
when we mention the first choice, there is
It must be.
a rise.
Rise.
And
And
when
the
we mention the second
second
one,
fall.
we have a
Do you
drop.
prefer reading
Good.
poetry or prose?
Do you prefer reading poetry or prose?
Yes.
Poetry or prose?
Yes.
Good.
Would you rather be a doctor, psychologist?
Or an
Or an
engineer.
engineer.
Here we have three choices.
Yes.
So the first one and the second one we have a rise intonation.
Rising
While in the
intonation.
last one
Just the last
we
one.
have a drop
Drop.
in
Yes.
intonation. Good, good. Now let's do some practice, Miss Wala.
Yes.
Oh.
Read the questions below. Does the intonation rise or fall at the end? The first one, do you like pop music? Here we have rising intonation because it is yes/no question.
Good. And I have no idea
Yeah,
maybe
I don't
about
know
the
the
answer.
answer. Yeah.
Do you like pop music?
Good.
It is a rising intonation.
Yes.
Number two.
Would you like to walk or to take the bus? So again here we have yes/no questions, falling intonation.
Yes, number three, the movie was great, wasn't it? It depends. It's a question tag. If the speaker knows the answer and you just check in, it must be falling.
Very nice. So here we have two choices.
Yeah, two choices.
We can
depends on the
have a drop and we can
Yeah.
have a rise.
a rise.
When we have a drop, it means that the speaker,
Needs
knows.
knows the
Knows,
information.
just
the
a
answer.
checking information.
when we have a rise, it means that
He doesn't
the
know.
speaker has no idea about the
About,
answer.
yes.
So the movie was great, wasn't it? There is a rising intonation. Here the speaker
So,
has no
yeah,
idea.
You don't know the
Yes.
answer.
Wasn't it a drop?
Yeah,
The
you are
speaker
checking.
knows the
Knows
answer.
the answer.
Um,
Number 4.
Next one.
What time does the museum open? What time does the museum open? So here we have, because it's WH question, it's falling intonation.
Yes.
The last one, people use first name here, don't they? Here we have rising or falling intonation. It depends,
The same,
as I
the
said.
same as number 3.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Now, we can go on to talk about grammar now. And when we talk about grammar, dear colleagues, as you know, we have, let's say, the title models. When we talk about models, we can say that they are auxiliary verbs, of course. When we talk about auxiliary verbs in general, as you know, we can classify them into 3 main groups. We have primary auxiliary verbs. They are to be, to have, and to do. And we have the modals, can, could, may, might, must, should, will, would, shall, and should. And we have the semi-modals,
Semi-modal.
and they
Like
are
need.
need, dare, and used. Now, in this unit, we can talk about the modals, which is group B,
Yes.
right? So what about modals? Please.
Yes. So we have the first one, must, which is used when we are just obliged to do something, but this obligation comes from the speaker himself. We use it for written rules and instruction and giving opinion and saying what is necessary.
What do we mean when we say, Mr. Mazen,
Yes.
obligation comes from the speaker?
It means the speaker himself forced himself to do something.
An example.
For example, I must remember my mother's birthday.
I must leave now, for
Yes.
example. It's my
Yes.
decision.
It's my
I
decision.
decided
Yes.
this. So obligation comes from the
From the
speaker
I must
himself.
study. Here, just this. Yes, this
So
is
there
comes
is an
from
obligation.
yes.
So we use it for written rules, as you said, and instructions,
Yes,
and
instruction.
giving opinions and saying what is necessary.
Yes.
Examples.
Passengers must fasten their seat belt. This is the instructions. Yes. The obligation is imposed by the airline who wrote the notice. Yes.
Yes, yes. And the next one,
Yeah,
I
the-
haven't spoken to Sandra for ages. I must call her. Here
Yes.
the obligation comes from the
It's personal.
Speaker himself.
not from a notice in the plane.
Yes.
A notice in the plane means that there is a rule
Yeah,
Yes.
by the
written.
railway,
Yeah, it's written.
by the airlines,
Yes.
right? Of the company. The company, it is the rule of the company,
Yes.
the airline company. So we say, for example, when we have a principal at school, the principal says, you must wear your black shoes when you come to school. So there is a rule at school, and you have to follow this rule. When you go back home and you want to tell your parents, you can say, I have to wear black shoes to school, because it's not your decision, it is the decision of the school. There is a rule in the school, and you have to follow it. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Next one.
Yes, the second one, have to or has to. It is also used for obligation, but the obligation comes from someone else or from outside. It is a general obligation, not a specific like must.
Good.
For example, we have to get up early tomorrow to catch the plane. Here, the time of the plane is the reason for the obligation.
Good. Thank you.
Number 3, should. We use should for advice or recommendations. For example, you should apologize to the boss for being late. This is advice. You should get a good map of London before you go there. This is recommendation.
Good.
Yes, now we'll turn to negative forms of the modals. The first one is mustn't. We use it when we talk about something which is prohibited or not allowed. For example, you mustn't wait here. You aren't allowed to wait
means
here.
that you
It
are
is
not
a
allowed to
negative
wait here.
obligation, but it's so strong.
Yes, yes.
To-
You mustn't wait here.
Yeah.
You are not allowed to wait here. It is a negative obligation.
So we have don't have to or doesn't have to, which means the absence of necessity.
It means it's not necessary.
It's not
Yeah.
necessary.
But
It's-
you are not obliged.
yes, you are not obliged. It's up to you to do this or not.
There is no need to do it.
No need.
For example,
Example, you don't have to wait here. But if you wait, nobody
It's okay,
will.
it's your choice.
It's your choice.
it's your choice.
Yes.
Yes. It is not necessary for you to wait here, but
Yes.
you can if you want to. No obligation here.
Yes.
What about shouldn't?
Yes, shouldn't we use it to advise not to do something, usually because it is bad or wrong? For example, you shouldn't smoke.
You shouldn't smoke here.
It's advice. Yeah.
There is an advice, yes.
Yeah.
There is advice, a piece of advice.
Yes.
Not an advice.
Yes, for
Yes,
sure.
because advice is
Uncountable.
uncountable now. Okay.
Yes, to express the obligation in the past, we use had to, because you know must does not have the simple past form, so we can use had to instead of instead of using must.
Let's say must.
Yes.
If I want to express, to talk about the past, to talk about yesterday.
Yes.
Yesterday, I had to finish my project in time,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So had to is the past form of must.
Yes.
If I am speaking about the present, we use must.
We use
I must, for
If
example.
I want to use
talk
must to
about.
talk about obligation in the past, I use had to. So this is the form, the past form of must.
Yes.
Thank you. I had to report the incident to the police. Did you have to get a visa? Good. Next one.
Yeah, to criticize actions in the past, we use should plus perfect infinitive. Should in the past means that the subject didn't do the right thing. For
Good.
example, I should have stayed at home. Here, it's like the speaker
I'm criticizing myself.
blaming himself.
I am blaming myself. I should have stayed at home. Why? Let's say, did I go out?
Yes.
I should have stayed at home. I didn't stay at home, and my behavior was wrong. I did the wrong thing. I should have stayed at home. So I'm blaming myself. I'm criticizing myself.
Yes.
Must and the present perfect.
And perfect infinitive. It's not used to talk about
Past obligation.
It's used to make deduction about the past.
When we talk about deductions, maybe this word
Yes.
is, let's say, a new word for the students, and we need to stop here to explain it. It is called conclusion,
Yeah,
logical conclusion.
conclusion.
So, for example, if I want to have or to make a logical conclusion about the present, let's say, Wala knows the names of all movie stars. Oh my God. She knows all the names of movie stars. She must watch films a lot. So I have a logical conclusion because she has all the names of movie stars. That's why I use must with no. Let's say that Mazen has 3 villas.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. We say inshallah in Arabic. Okay. He must be rich. So you see,
Yes.
I'm trying here to conclude from the situation.
Yes.
But when I want to use, let's say, must for deduction
Deduction.
or logical conclusion, in the past, I should use must
Plus have.
with have
And
with verb 3.
verb
I mean
3.
present perfect
Yes.
with must.
Yes.
So here, she must have left early. Where is Wala? Wala was not here yesterday. She must have left early. She must have left early because we didn't find her anywhere. So I'm trying to give a logical conclusion
Yes.
or deduction about the past.
Yes.
That's it. Good. Now we have an exercise. Let's do it in a hurry
Yes,
because we
choose-
have only 5 minutes.
Okay, choose the correct answer. In Britain, you drive on the left. The answer is you have to because this is laws and rule. So the obligation comes from the outside the speaker.
Yes.
The second one, he has a backache. He shouldn't carry heavy things.
Good.
Yes, number 3, I'm very hungry. I must eat. This is, you know, I am obliging myself. The obligation comes from the speaker himself.
Yes.
Yeah. 4, you mustn't use your mobile phone in a gas station. So here it's not allowed.
Yes.
Number 5, Tom doesn't study enough. He should study harder. This is an advice.
Yes.
The last one, if he has a
A
credit
piece of
card,
advice. Yes.
Yes.
he doesn't have to pay for something in cash. He can use the card. Here it doesn't have to. It's not
If
necessary.
he has
to
a
do.
credit card,
Yeah.
it means that he doesn't have to pay for
Yeah.
something
It's not
in cash
necessary to
because he
do
has
so.
a card.
Yes.
He can use the card. That's it. Now, what about everyday English? Here, the skill is
Expressing surprise.
expressing surprise. When we feel surprised, and especially when we visit a foreign country,
Yeah.
as we said,
the honeymoon stage,
and,
yeah, the first
in
stage.
stage number 1, the person is excited about everything he meets or sees in that country. So how to express surprise in general? I don't know, Miss Wala or Mr. Mazen,
It's the same.
please.
Yes.
Yes,
That's-
surprise is generally a strong emotion, and we often express this feeling with a rise and fall intonation part. For example, wow. Here
Wow.
we have
You
rising
see?
intonation.
Wow,
Oh.
I'm surprised.
Yeah. The
Oh.
second one, oh no.
Yes.
It
Oh,
can be
no.
good or bad
Yes,
surprise.
Yes, yes.
Yes. You can complete.
You can use a rise, full intonation pattern,
Yes.
Mr. Mazen, when you
Yeah.
say these expressions.
Yes. No way. No way is like saying
That can't be possible.
cannot be possible. There is no way that is true. No way.
No way.
You have got to be kidding.
You've got to be kidding me.
Yes.
Yes. You're joking.
Yes.
So
you're
we have many. There is a variety of expressions, in fact, but here we try to focus on, let's say, some of them.
Yes.
But there are many expressions.
Yes.
You mentioned them.
Let's try to do the exercise.
Yes. A friend tells you she's going to have hair just dyed orange. To express surprise, you say that's absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Yes, the second one, your partner is late for your date as usual, but promises to be on time next time.
And as you can see, dear
He
students,
promises.
it will be the same way in the exam. That's how we ask you about everyday English
Yes.
in the exam.
Multiple choice.
You have to master the skills of everyday English and to know how you can use them in different situations. So there will be 2 speakers maybe, A and B. Speaker A says something and you have to choose the right response to that person. That's it. Number 2.
Number 2, your partner is late for your date as usual, but promises to be on time next time. He promises, so I have to say, I'll take word for it.
Yes. Number 3.
Number 3, someone tells you that their dog can sing pop songs. Do you, you respond, do you seriously expect me to believe that?
Good.
Yes, the last one, someone tells you that he has just seen Messi at the local supermarket. You are so surprised, so you say, you're kidding.
Yes. Now we have the last, here we have a listening exercise. Do we have time for 1 minute or not? 1 minute. Okay, let's listen to this exercise.
Recording 10.4. Listen to radio show about different costumes around the world. Match the country with a suitable behavior. Recording 10.4. Listen to radio show about different costumes around the world. Match the country with a suitable behavior. Our show today is about different costumes around the world. In the United States, as a way of showing gratitude for waiter service, it is expected that people leave between 10 to 20% of the bill on tips. In South Korea, employees in the food service industry are given fair wages, and it is insulting to attempt to tip them. In many cultures, it is a right to ask for salt to add to your food, but if you are dining with friends in Egypt, keep in mind to avoid asking for salt. It is taken as an insult to the host, as Egyptians take it to mean that you don't like the taste of the food. Don't show up on time in Venezuela. Looks like Venezuelans aren't like British people, are very punctual and make a great effort to arrive on time. Reaching on time is considered rude in Venezuela, and it is recommended to reach at least 15 minutes later than the scheduled time. Early or in-time guests are viewed as being too eager or even greedy. Avoiding using red ink in South Korea is based on their history and costumes. Red ink was used to write down names of dead people on the family register. Whereas in Mexico, it is better to stick to the traditional red rose rather than a yellow rose, which means death in Mexican culture.
So, dear students, there is no time, unfortunately, to answer the exercise, but I think the answers are very clear. The words are matched, as you can see. You have to, let's say, play the recorder or the recording to make sure of the correct answers in class. Well, dear students, dear colleagues, at the end of this session, let me thank my colleagues in the studio who participated in this session. Miss Wala Safir from Damascus countryside. Thanks, Miss Wala. And I'd like to thank you for preparing this wonderful file about Unit 10. Thank you very much. Mr. Mazen Abdul Karim, an English teacher from Damascus countryside. Thank you, Mr. Mazen, for coming and participating. Dear students, dear colleagues, till we meet in other seminars, we wish you all the best and goodbye. Thank you.